Hi guys, this is Elak, and I'll be back today with another tutorial. This time, it is the second painting I'm doing about Tatooine, my Star Wars FanArt series. And this scene is the one with Sandscrawlers from the Jawas, droid sellers that capture C-3PO and R2-D2 from where Luke, actually, Uncle Owen, by then. The reason I chose to paint this scene was because in the scene of the movie when the Sandcrawlers appeared, the sky looked beautiful. And like me as always, I end up with a total different sky. I am actually calling it crazy because I don't know what happened. I started doing painting the way I planned it, the way that was in the sample. In the sample, the sky looked really normal sky, but I got excited, I don't know, and it ended up really crazy, which right now I'm liking very much. This one was the one I could tell myself to stop before I end up screwing it all. The colors I used in it was lemon yellow, orange, cerulean blue, a mix of cerulean blue and permanent red, and a mix of cerulean blue, permanent red and orange, and a little bit of indigo here and there on the mixes. It was supposed to be a sunset sky, but it ended up looking like a almost rainy sky. I don't know if it rains in Tatooine. Someone who is really knowledgeable of Star Wars mythology, please tell me, it is raining in Tatooine? I'm trying to develop my techniques of making clouds. From now, it's not going well, but at least, like I said, I'm liking what I'm doing, so I can carry on. But I have to study more to discover a way to do sky that I actually like. In my head, I don't know, I have the technique that I want to do, but when I actually do itself, it's appear like I forgot and started doing cool sky, but not with the way I wanted it to. Like this one, I hadn't planned to do a sky this crazy, but well, I ended up liking it. In the end, it fits well with the rest of the painting. So it's actually a surprise, and by surprises, I'm like this one, and look, I don't like surprises. I'm that kind of person that plan everything. That's why I like watercolor so much. I have to plan all the processes of painting before doing it, and spontaneity is not an important thing, a factor to do this kind of painting. I have to admit that great part of my painting techniques right now are completely different the way I plan it. Sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much. It's not being a problem to me right now. So you can see that this crazy is starting to get shape. I keep retouching here and there till the warmth of the paint come out, beginning to be really dark, really cold. I still had the hope that it to look like a sunset sky. And that's when I stop. I think that if I was to furthermore touch up the sky, I would end up doing something that I would regret. I'm thankful I didn't do that. And I started to make the desert ground. For it, I usually basically the same mix as used in the first Tatooine scene, that were the red, brown, yellow ochre for the lightest colors, the red, brown, permanent red, and cerulean blue for the second colors and more headed tones, and for the darkest tone red brown, permanent blue, and more cerulean blue. One fun thing is that the scene that I based this painting on, I practically changed everything this time. I wanted to be faithful with the movie, but when I was sketching it, I wanted to change so many things that I ended up changing a lot. And for a lot of people that are not familiar with Star Wars, wouldn't recognize it for itself. I changed the angle of the Sandscrawlers. The numbers of mountains too. In the movie was actually 3. I changed it for 2. And the colors itself I changed it too. The one more far away was a bluish tone. The first time I painted it, I actually did the color blue, but I didn't like it. Didn't match well with the rest of the paintings, so I put in a warmish color, orangish near the sky color. It's actually the mix, the red, brown, and burnt umber, that was the color for this mountain. The other one, the nearest one, I used a mix of the 3 mix that was the same of the sand, the red, brown, yellow ochre, red, brown, permanent red, and cerulean blue, and the one with more cerulean blue. For the Sandscrawlers itself, it was really fun. I used the 2 mixes, one that was the same of the ground, the red brown and permanent red, cerulean blue with more cerulean blue, and this mix with a bit more of indigo to be the darkest color. And to paint it was a relation of perspective. It was the first time that I painted something that I had the light, the source of light, that would be where the sun was all the time in my head, that was going to be behind the Sandscrawler. So every time I was painting it, I knew it, and it was an interesting experience. I normally don't care much about where the sun is, which is something really wrong of me, of doing it, but I don't have a painter mind yet. So to me, I was drawing the way I wanted, and after it is done, I think about the light perspective. This one was the first time I did it first, and it helped a lot because it has a lot of dimension and is one point in this painting that have most realistic aspect. The sky is something you forget. The sand and the mountain I really like it too, but the Sandscrawlers really look like something that could be real, so I like it a lot. It is not 100% of my expectation to have a realistic painting. I want it to still look like a painting, not a portrait or a photograph or anything like that. But that I am capable of creating something that look a little bit realistic is something to be proud of, I think. I really like it. The one detail that I lost was that in the down part near the wheels, I can't call it wheels, I don't know, it had two small windows that when I was painting I totally passed through it, but overall I liked the look of it. I like this technique too of doing lots of layers. I always talk about layers, but as the way I'm painting is the basic way to paint watercolor, so I'm going to talk a lot about layers. I did the sand and the mountains in layers and using the same perspective technique that I used before, that first thing I would paint was the things that was from behind. At least in the last layer I did that. In the first one I wasn't really thinking about that. But I think it's working for me and I'm liking doing things like that. It's a good thing. I would recommend it for a lot of beginners out there to do it. It's a great way to learn. I love it the way this mountain ended up like. It has such an interesting texture in it. And I didn't forget to make the shadows. One thing that I added that I liked a lot was the rocks. I used it to make this distance perspective more apparent. Wait for it, in a second will appear a cat in this frame. There! That is my Mary-chan. She wanted to paint too, apparently. All the time when I'm painting, she appears I want to play with the water or get my brushes. But back at the matter. I used these rocks to make perspective of distance. It's really simple and I think it's in the end it look really cool. And it's something that is on the scene of the movie. But there is a lot more. But I couldn't do that, so I used it just to be details. Can you see now how good the sky and the rest of the painting are looking together? I think that's why I really like this sky. still doing the rock. And there is a mosquito. The day I was painting it, still today, it's really hot where I live. We are going to summer, so you can imagine it. I don't know if I told you where I'm from Brazil. So summer to us is almost as experiencing hell. It's really hot. I have no idea how I'm going to record videos in the summer. Obviously I'm going to think in a way, but water-wise is not good, and mosquito-wise not good also. And I normally paint these tutorials at night, and at night with all the lights on, I have 3 lights in me, 2 in each side of my painting board, and the main lights of my room turn on too, and it attracts a lot of mosquitoes, but that's okay. One point, so when I was doing the shadows, I didn't pay attention much at it, and I was doing it in the wrong way. I had to come back all over again like you saw and redo the shadows to look normal from the source light. I'm doing the last retouching in the sky to make it look more dynamic. And that's it, guys. That's my second painting on my Tatooine series. I hope you like it. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel to see more. Bye bye!